Hello and welcome back to Vegas Aces. I'm your host, Heather Ferris, and today I am excited to introduce a special guest. We have the Wizard of Odds back with us. Hi.
Hi,
Good
Heather.
to see you. Always good having you on. Thank you so much for being on.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Cool. So if you guys don't know Michael Shackleford, you got to check him out. Go to his website, wizardofodds.com. Check out his YouTube channel. He has a ton of information on there. So please go check it out, subscribe, like, all that fun stuff. Today, we are going to be doing a video on the top 3 mistakes. We're going to be continuing with that from last week. Top 3 mistakes table game inventors do. Don't realize their mistakes. So, Mike, what are those mistakes that people make where they just don't realize it's what they're doing?
Okay. Well, first of all, thanks for the nice plug. And I know you deal with table game inventors too, so I certainly welcome your thoughts on the topic as well.
Thank you.
And how do I know about this? It's because I also consult for table game inventors, helping them with the math and general advice. So I see them making the same mistakes over and over. And when you go to the gaming shows, you see these same awful games all the time. And they're awful for very similar reasons. So, okay, that said, my first reason table game inventors fail is their game is too complicated. And it takes too long to explain. And even after you explain it, the player has no idea about strategy. He doesn't have a good feel for the game. I have no idea what to do. So the rule of thumb is that you need to be able to explain the rules of your game in 30 seconds or less. And a lot of people take 30 minutes to explain it. Nobody's going to have that kind of patience. You have a really short window to attract a new player to your game. Players are not clamoring to play new games. Now, you may get somebody who walks by a new game and they say, "What's this?" And you're going to need to be able to explain to the gist of it, like I said, in under 30 seconds. And then if they play, they need to be engaged with the game. If they get a hand and it's like, I have no clue what to do here, and there's no strategy card, and the dealer doesn't know what to do, that player is not going to have a good experience. He's going to lose like crazy. He's going to be frustrated, and he's going to leave, and he's not going to come back, and he's going to say that game sucked to anybody who listens. So in summary, again, most games are just too complicated.
Yeah, I completely agree. I've seen a couple games where I would ask the table game inventor a question about the game and they wouldn't know the answer. And it's like, that's your game. If you don't know the answer, how can you expect the dealer to answer that?
Mm-hmm.
And I love what you said about the 30 seconds or less. A lot of people, they need to look at it as an elevator pitch. So
Yep.
An elevator pitch, it would be 15 to 30 seconds. It's the exact same thing when you're pitching your game to either a casino manager or a player. You know, you have to be able to tell them exactly what's going on in that time frame. That's really awesome. So what is the second common or biggest mistake table game inventors do?
The number 2 reason they fail is they're underfinanced. Trying to get a new table game to market is expensive. Now, there was a scene in one of the Ocean's 11 movies where somebody pitches a game at a gaming show, and every casino table game manager is like fighting to get this game. No, it's not like that. You're the one that needs to do the fighting to give your game away for free. It's a catch-22. Nobody's going to want a game that's not proven to make money. And you can't prove a game makes money unless people try it. So it's really difficult to get your foot in the door. How do you get your foot in the door? You need to, first of all, you need to make all the equipment like a table game cloth and any special equipment, stuff like that. You need to pay to go to gaming shows to demonstrate your game. You should probably make a dedicated website of your game that preferably has a demo that players can play on the computer. Those are not cheap. You should probably make a video to put on YouTube that explains the game. And all this stuff is expensive. I think that a good budget is somewhere in the range of $50,000 to $100,000. And probably at least 95% of people that take this plunge are never going to make a dime. So you have to think of it as an extremely risky investment. And if you don't have $50,000 to flush down the toilet, then turn around and run away. This business is not for you.
That's a really good point. I try to tell people that they have to view their new table game like a product that you're putting in a grocery store. You're not going to put a product in a grocery store without advertising and marketing it. You have to do that, and it's just part of it. You don't know if it's going to succeed. You don't know if it's going to fail, but you do have to market it and get it ready for the grocery store, for example. Mm-hmm. The other thing you were saying too, if you guys are interested, Vegas Aces does do that. So we do table layouts, we do rack cards, we do logos, websites, all of that. So email me if you're interested, heather@vegas-aces.com, and we can help you through that process. So what is the third biggest mistake that new table game inventors make?
Okay, the third mistake is the game is too bizarre, it's too unconventional, it doesn't have any connection to any existing game. And I know this kind of has some overlap with the first reason, but as an example, you don't want a dice game that uses anything other than six-sided dice. You don't want to use dodecahedrons, icosahedrons, nothing like that, forget it. If you want a card game, you want to use standard 52 card decks. Maybe you can add a joker, but please don't make special decks that that look like Uno cards or present different colors. No, people understand games with standard 52 card decks and standard six-sided dice. At least they kind of have a feel for the odds for games like that. And this is true with also board games. Games people like use conventional equipment. And okay, also, I recommend taking an existing game and trying to improve it, or at least change it a little bit, like blackjack. People have had successful games with blackjack switch. What are some other ones?
Oh man, there's so many out there.
Free bet blackjack, where the player gets to double or split for free. And of course, there's always a take back. You try to give something to the player that makes the game more fun, and you take away something that they're not really appreciating very much to begin with. For example, Spanish 21 did that brilliantly. They said, here's blackjack, but you can double on any number of cards. You can double on anything. You get these bonuses for 6, 7, 8, and 7, 7, 7. You can surrender anytime. A blackjack is an automatic winner, including against the dealer blackjack. 21 cards is an automatic winner. 5-card Charlie, 6-card Charlie, all these bonuses. And what did they take away? They took away the 10s from the deck. Not every 10-point card, just the 1, 0 10s. And players didn't notice. I have played a lot of Spanish 21, and I have yet to meet a player who even knew that they removed these cards from the deck. And removing the 10s from the deck is strongly in the dealer's favor. So that's a perfect example of removing something players don't appreciate and giving them something that they do. So again, take an existing popular game, probably blackjack or baccarat, and just twisting it a little bit.
I really like that. And I like what you... Go ahead.
What was I going to say? This kind of, let me just say something that's a little bit off topic, but every table game inventor will fall in love with his game. That, Mike, this game is the exception to the rules. This is going to be the next 3-card poker. Every table game inventor says that. You're not special. Trust me. And everyone will say, I have demoed this to my friends and my mother on my kitchen table, and they all love it. Of course they're going to say that. They don't want to hurt your feelings and tell you your game sucks. I know somebody who demoed her game on Fremont Street, and got 99% positive feedback. Trust me, this game was terrible. I hope the person behind this game doesn't do this. Talking about. But no, when people see you face to face and you ask them, what do you think of my game? They are not going to be honest. They're going to tell you what you want to hear. That's just the way people are. So just wanted to give you that warning that you're not special and your game is not special. I'm sorry to say it.
Oh my goodness. So going back to what you were saying before, with the custom equipment and everything, I just want to talk about that real quick. Casinos, if you come in with custom cards, for example, if you have custom playing cards and you come in with that, most casinos won't take that. Like most casino managers will just be like, no, immediately. And
yep, they don't want to stock all this special equipment.
Exactly, because it's going to cost them a lot of money and everything. And then the inventor's like, well, what if I cover the cost? And it ends up being a big cost for the inventor. So it's not really a very good scenario having custom equipment, because then the inventor has to cover the price, and they're already paying for so much as it is.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't really want to make a comment on your other suggestion, because I don't want to go around telling our players that they're not special. Sorry. I was trying so hard not to laugh my butt off when you were doing this.
Well, you know, one tough thing about me when I go to the gaming shows, I just see these people demonstrating these terrible games. And then after they do their demonstration, they always ask me, so Mike, what do you think? And they have this big, like, wide-eyed look on their face, like they're just ready for me to say wonderful things about it. And then I will say, before I answer that question, I want to warn you that I'm going to give it to you straight. And I'm going to tell you what I really feel. And then 100% of the time they say, I want your true feelings. I want your honest opinion. Give it to me straight. And then I say terrible things about their game.
And then you lay into it.
And then they get this dejected look on their face, like, and then they might be a little bit angry, like, you know, Mike, I think you're being a little bit rude. And I said, I warned you. I was going to be honest with you. And then I'll probably say, my advice is to turn around and run for your life. This game is awful. You're never going to make a dime on it.
I can attest to that. I've been there. I've seen it. I've seen it happening more than once. Like a lot, actually. Oh, man. But the advice you give them is always good advice. It's always, you know, very straightforward, and you tell them exactly what it is.
Sometimes you just got to pass out some tough love.
Well, the alternative is they keep going and they end up spending $50,000 or $100,000. So you're really helping. And the event that you were talking about was Cutting Edge and G2E. And what other events are there throughout the year?
Those are the two big ones. I know there's also a tribal gaming show, and then there's smaller versions of G2E around the country and around the world. But yeah. I do recommend that if you are going to go the route of showing your game, go to Cutting Edge. And this is a show that is only about table games, and it has what's called their table game showcase. And this is going to be a room that has about 30 table game inventors demonstrating their game. And I'm not going to say that casino managers are going to fall in love with your game, but they will be there. That's why they go to this show, because they don't just go to look at new table games, but they talk about very valuable topics that have to do with existing games and how to protect them and make more money and so on and so forth. But while they're there, they will, you know, you will get the attention of the decision makers that count. You will get the people that run the table games here in Las Vegas or wherever. So when you demo your game to them, they're going to give you good feedback, and they might hold back a little bit to avoid hurting your feelings. But I would pay very attention to any criticism that you get. Yeah. And if you leave that show and you get a lot of criticism, if you think they don't know what they're talking about, you can think that these are the people you need to sell. and and it's going to benefit you nothing to have a game that you think is the next sliced bread that nobody will take.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of the times they're getting the same feedback from people. It's like if you're getting 5 or 6 different people saying exactly the same thing, maybe you should listen to them.
Yeah, maybe you should. One thing I like about the show Shark Tank is they're not afraid to say that a bad business idea is a bad business idea. And usually when they leave and they get the person's feedback when they're out of the tank, they'll say, I'm going to show them. They don't know what they're talking about. And I bet none of these people make it, or very, very few.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and everything. Again, if you guys haven't already, check out his website, check out his YouTube channel, The Wizard of Odds. Fantastic information, a lot of good resources. Thank you again so much for being on.
You're welcome.
Cool.
And thanks, Heather, and thanks, audience.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye.